was a long time. It was a long time. Let's see. Let's see. Right now sitting in the park, not far from home. Sort of all the time became my grounding place. With nature where you can walk around barefoot, at least for a moment, basically. Yeah. The sun is out. The sun is out. There's a lot of shifts of energies going on lately, very much a lot. And it hasn't been all the time easy to even admit that such energies are going on, such shifts are going on, because the acceptance of that is already very much for us a big change, a big shift of belief. And most of the time it leaves us very insecure to embrace the change and to just be in the wave, right? And it will keep happening. That's the constant. That's the thing we are sure about, that it will keep happening. Because when we talk about energies and consciousness, that's all about it, right? You cannot unsee what you see. And I find it very interesting that we are all waving on the same sort of tides, ebb and flows all around emotionally, as we are connected, with the planet, with the different aspects of the planet, with the solar flares going on nowadays, the solar eclipse season, which is very fresh and still ongoing. And on top of that, with the young dragon year in Chinese tradition. A friend of mine reminded me that yesterday, that there's on top of that, 2024 is the year of the dragon, and so it's all in all sort of connected, interconnected, and sort of brings us today where we are supposed to be, here. And I won't lie, I thought before leaving home that, wearing my little hoodie would be helpful with the morning breeze, but I gotta say, so let's give it a try again. Alright, I believe now is the right time. I'm not sure what has been recorded, honestly, before, because I was already 5-10 minutes through talking about energies and about, the wake-up call of the higher energies, the universe, the consciousness, no matter how we call it, right? The wake-up call for realignment, for remembering, and it would keep calling. And I was mentioning the fact that it's always interesting that no matter where we're from, the different culture we are coming from, the same set of emotions have different names and different labels, different connotation. Speaking of a breakup, a breakthrough, a breakdown, a burnout, basically a change in any aspect of a ship, as I like to mention or call it, to generalize every ship we know of, be it relationships, be it partnerships, be it contract ship, be it relationship generally. And I like to put all of these aspects of ships, and it's very interesting, with languages, how sometimes, generalizing them helps to even understand them better. So the ships, to me, earlier not felt like real relationship, even the contract ship. I remember that there was a time where it was obvious that I was going through a sort of now I know how to call it, the darkest night of my soul, where my realities and belief, body, mind and soul, were just not in sync no more. And then I quit my job, as saying that was sort of a contract ship, and the feeling, to be honest, the feeling was very much like an emotional break with my awareness back then. It felt like a breakup, from the alchemy going in my body, and then it was also revelatory in the sense that it was a wake-up call. Something had to be changed. Something had to be done, and not just usual, not the usual symptom approach, where instead of going to the root cause of the problem, we just stop at the symptom aspect of it. And 5 years ago, that was my wake-up call. That was literally after the last solar eclipse in 2017. And I was very much not connected, rather aware of my body awareness. I was very mindful generally, always intellectually finding my way through life, and good results, people pleasing sort of aspect of my older personality So basically, I was an extension of a traumatized. Okay, so this is a take number. I'm not even sure anymore. So I was talking about, our. I was talking about our sort of our apprehension of ships generally. You know how we name different ships, how we name different aspects of breaking a ship, relationship, partnership, contract ship, and what it actually reveals and tells about our self and what should be done about it. So I was mentioning that the the solar eclipse energies are for real, and the last one, which happened in 2017, I recall that I was not very much body aware the same way I am today, and to me it was another. It was just another gathering outside, with other people just wearing those eclipse glasses. I remember it was in Vorarlberg, in Austria, and we would just, get out of the office and just, call it a day, just experience it outside. But rather for me, the shift started from 2018 on. There's been many shifts in my sphere of ships that really led me to sort of to make changes, right? To make changes to readjust, and one of them was about my body aspect. There's always body, mind, and spirit. So about my body aspect, what happened was that I was born with a certain condition on my left side. You know, I just got acquainted with that only recently. And I'm going into the details because in my journey, spiritual process, exposing and exposure in an healthy, organic way is my next step, basically. After embracing and accepting those aspects of my being, now the next step is to is naturally to process the new set of emotion, to assign them with my own wording, my own terms, to reflect upon them. And now is the step for me where I'm stepping out, sharing the experience in order to let it go myself, and rather to inspire other like you who might be in the same situation where the wake-up call is coming from different channel, different doors. In my case, that was through a body. Basically, what happened 5 years ago was my body just stopped. Basically, it was a shutdown of my body, and that was my wake-up call. But rather today, the wake-up call is mostly about the mindful aspect of our Trinity. We have the body, the mind, and the spirit soul. And nowadays, We are being called to be mindful, to be very much mindful about what we absorb, about what we're exposing ourselves to. And one aspect of it is we absorb information, we hear stuff, we eat, we smell stuff. There's a friend of mine who just passed by, but he didn't recognize me, or he didn't see me anyway. I like this feeling, just, sitting outside and mingling with the neighborhood. And this is actually one good aspect for the Muladhara chakra. For the Muladhara chakra, as in of course, it's your physical embodiment of your body. So basically, it's how well you are sitting inside of your own bones and body. And one way to balance it, or to keep it balanced, is to do. So I guess here goes part number 4. It doesn't really matter. Because I will go through. The reason why I had to stop from the park was that there was the phone was saying that it was too hot, so the whole technology had to stop. So yeah, so here we are again, and I was talking about what we do absorb as informations, and how it actually does matter to the way we perceive the reality, basically. So when you take, for example, the Pink Floyd triangle or pyramid, that's the most contemporary example I can think of. So when you take that one and you basically break it down in the 7 colors of the rainbow, which are your 7 energy centers, chakras. Each one of them is assigned to one main senses. And so we absorb information, we feel information, we see information, we hear information, we smell information, we taste information. And it's about time to be more mindful about it. And as I was saying, before the natural order of things went on with the sun and the heat, well, the first aspect of it, of the whole rainbow, and that goes also for the emotional check of my chakras. And I like this music, so we're just gonna put it a little bit louder. And basically, the first one, the red color, is how we embody our body, how we feel connected to our bones on the deeper level, on the 3 different layers of the skin, you know, the skin, the derms, the bones. And one way of balancing this aspect is house chores, which is also interesting because I'm back home. It was too hot outside, and yeah, I had to readjust basically. So basically, house chores can be a way of, you know, moving around. And if you noticed in the Vedas book, when they're talking about enlightened gurus and enlightened spiritual leaders or spiritual journeys, they mention the fact that, you know, at the end of the day, they will simply go back to doing whatever it is they used to do, right? And I find it really interesting that whatever it is they used to do is always, you know, cleaning their house or cleaning their temple or cleaning, you know, their closets, if you want. And I believe in the process of doing so, they are nurturing their body and honoring their body joints in the aspect that they're adopting what we might call strange position, you know, enriching the dust and cleaning the corners of the house. That's how they maintain a certain body awareness. That's how they maintain a certain health, general health if you want. And that's my way of intuitively connecting it in a contemporary way, as in putting one's house in order means to reconnect with the body, you know, to reconnect with the body, to be able to deal with house chores and to be able to clean one's own, you know, amount of dirt or shadow work or whatever it is that needs to be done. And in another video I will speak more about how we are the flowers of our ancestors' seeds, basically meaning that we are here to sort of to repent for our ancestors and ourselves, and to do the work, basically, not just consuming and living in the world, because we somehow, somewhere in our mind know that it is not the end. I believe so, because we are just coming back, you know, we are just coming back. And there's one aspect of our Mula Dara which is very biased with the concept of death and afterlife, you know, coming from the influences of religion, where death is seen as the end, in the sense that one is always looking for accumulating material goods outside our own temple and body, and I really hope this time it works. So I guess I'm having this gimbal situation going on, and it's been the third time already, and makes me lose the track of my thought. Or rather, I'm not gonna give up, because I still want to channel this and to make it a daily ritual. Right, okay. So going back to the the rainbow, right? So the color red is our body. So we need to embody it, to be mindful of our body, the physical aspect of it, to nurture it, to reconnect with it, to start looking within. And the second aspect of the information we do absorb is the color orange. Basically, we do taste, we do smell, we do have this, this tongue aspect of our being. It's all the taste, it's all the liquid, it's all the hormones, it's all about the water element in our body, the blood, the circulation, our flow, the traditional chakras. And this one is a very beautiful energy center because it's our creativity, it's the Shakti energy, the creative energy we all do have as we are here to create, to recreate, to procreate, to co-create. We are creators of our reality. So this center is really important because after we embody our body, we need to be able to make it move around. Because it's all matter and energy, and then on repeat. One element becomes the other after going through a certain level of transformation, and then becomes the next one. So from earth to water, when you set a certain motion with earth, at some point it will flow into water. That's what we want, with our body awareness, to be sort of okay. So we back at it again. I'll see how am I going to manage this. I wish it's okay to channel live. Interesting. So, take number, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. I will go through it, and this time I'll make sure that the sun doesn't overheat the phone. And I was talking about the second chakra, right? The second center of energy, the creative center, the creative energy, the Shakti, right? And we are here being creators of our realities, right? And meaning that we eventually are created. We recreate the recreation, right? The repetition of what we already know, because we are beings of repetition. The creation of it, from mind, idea, thought to realization, from a vision to a realization. And I'll speak a little bit more about it later on at the end of the rainbow. And then we recreate or create. And then there's a procreation aspect of existence where after navigating through life through the yin-yang aspect of it. As soon as we find a mate, then we can choose to bring along different cultures and then to create a third one out of it. This is procreation. And this is the center of it, right? And in our matrix, it happens that after the first chakra, as I mentioned before with Muladhara, and death has been biased by, you know, the information we do absorb from our environment, our culture, our beliefs, politics, our global set of beliefs. I'll just put it in one big box now. Then there's the second aspect of the energy center where sexuality has been also very much biased. So nowadays, it's only been sold or shown as this physical aspect of the sexuality, you know, when two mates pair together and there's an enhance, there's a peak, there's some arousal, and that's it. So that's how we've been educated with that. And on top of it, depending on where the source of information comes from, the matrix, the religion, the house, the temple, the community, then there's the belief that the act of sex has negative connotation, which in the end sort of works as a very tricky roller coaster, as in not only are we not embodying the body from the first chakra aspect of it, and then second, we don't embrace our creative aspect of being. You know, we don't embrace this sexual energy, we sort of repress it based on what we've been taught, right? And this in the end is a sort of, is already, the first two chakras are already in a sort of a clash. You know, interdependently they are clashing. So alone the Muladhara is not aware of, you know, of his own being. And then you have the Svadhisthana, where there's this shameful feeling always coming around and making us feeling wrong about our own being, which is a quantum leap sort of roller coaster, because we are not embracing or embodying the definition of our being. And then comes the third energy center. And before talking about this one, a way to, you know, to reconnect with the Shakti energy, the same way the enlightened guru would clean up his space, moving his body on a daily basis in a very humble way. A way to balance the second energy chakra would be to, in my creative process, is to trigger it by training or enhancing the left aspect of our being. Just whatever we will do right, we do left. And this is very powerful because we are living in this matrix which has been by design patriarchal, which has been by design masculine oriented, right? And so everything is right, we're sitting right, we're just using this half, if not even lesser aspect of our being, just right-handed, just driving right and forgetting this whole range of our being. And the connection with this side of our being helps us trigger the right hemisphere of our brain, which in the end is helpful in sort of breaking this invisible wall between beliefs, between what is one allowed to do or not, what is one allowed to think or not. So just training the left hand, for example, or whatever it is we do right, we do also left. Me too. And this is going to trigger our right hemisphere brain, and is going to sort of to awaken the little eye in between and help us sort of break down this contradiction going on with the two first chakras already, right? So it's gonna just sort of bring in your reality this aspect of why not, because well, or you're sort of training this aspect of your being, right? Okay, so the third one is the Manipura. Is your Ani, is your sun sign, is your inner fire, is your Ori Inu. You know, in comparison to the Ifa religion, to the Yoruba traditional belief. And this part is very interesting because it has to do with our guts, you know, which is one layer deeper within our body. So after being the skin, after being the liquids, and the bone, the joints, which listen, and now we have the fire element. How do we process all of this? The emotion, we can drop them in the oven for our being to process them, right? This is the oven of our being. We process food, we process emotion there, and it is interconnected with our sense of sight. Right, which is really interesting because when you think of it as being the animus, there's no such thing as a predator seeing clearly while being guts empty or while being hungry, craving for food. So his eyesight is being sort of biased, you know. And in connotation to the guru, enlightened guru, I believe being in the daily flow, moving the body, getting acquainted with the different angles, the joints and the being, then there's this natural aspect, you know, the triangle of the three lower chakras where the fire is ignited. Which enhance our confidence, which enhance our self-esteem, our self-awareness first, and then the self-esteem. You know, knowing that there is more to our being, because this is the chakra which is beneath the Merkaba. The intersection, right? The air element, our heart. The three lowers are more physical aspect of our being. The heart is the intersection. So the three upper are very subtle, palpable. You can't really, I believe is the word in French, you can't really touch them. You can't really, you know, assign them to a physical manifestation of anything, right? So then you have your heart, the color green. All right. Okay. So I was talking about the heart chakra, about the Merkaba aspect of it, as above, so below, right? And so below means in this aspect that the lower aspect of our being, so the most physical aspect of it, the 3 lower chakras, you know, the earth, the water, and the fire, are more of those less subtle elements. Then you have the air. Then comes the Vishuddha chakra, you know, the seat of our spirituality, the center of our truth, the ether element. So we are either talking, which is more of a Shiva aspect of it, or we are listening. And most of our lives, we do not speak through our truth. We somehow have to swallow it back in, which in the end can lead, you know, to tensions, discomforts, and hypo or hyperthyroid situation where we balance the lack of expression with some other aspects of our being by absorbing more of the other kind of information, by eating more, or by not being present, or by not sitting in power with our truth. And this one, although subtle, you can try to reconnect with it by just massaging it with your hands, which are the healer of your body. You send intention. You know, if you want to speak your truth, you send intention to your center. And by the same, you also reconnect, you know, with the shapes of it. Right. You can press it to see how low or high your voice gets. Just to get acquainted with this and to breathe through it, right, at the same time. And this is the door gate to the first eye, which is when you break down the Heru eye, the one I mentioned in the beginning. So the ancient Egyptian tradition tells us that, okay, we have 6 senses, main senses. And this one is the ability to speak. As a center. And to listen. So you have both the sort of the ear and the hetero aspect of speaking interconnected in this center. And they sort of make sure that the duality of the aspect of our being, the polarity, is understood into oneness with the first eye. We don't see left or right. We are not concentrated or meditative, but rather we contemplate, sitting in the temple and just contemplating life. Right? So that's the 6th chakra. And it's the one topping the other ones. When you consider the eye of Heru, she's sort of the mother of all those chakras. Because mindfully, as I mentioned, we need to be mindful about all of those aspects of our being. What do we absorb? From which gates or sense does that information comes from? Do we smell it? Do we feel it? Did we touch it already? Right, did we taste it? That's how I jungle between those colors. My emotions, great. It's really helping me to sort of being able to assign it, to be aware that I have a rainbow handful of emotions at my disposal, and then I can navigate through that. You know, the reason I've been deeply researching about it is that I will cover in the next video more about this topic. It's about traumas. You know, this word we do hear, but not necessarily a sign, but rather life is generally traumatic. Every aspect of the being is traumatic, and rather it depends on how, as a being, as a temple, we conceive and receive it. It's really important to, while doing the work, especially with these energies going on, where it has to be a shadow work, where we have to face our inner self and go through the unfinished businesses. I would say that this is really important to start doing the work before connecting to the 7th chakra and the crown and the beyond. Because we need to be able to make sure that we are in oneness in our aspect of being, and there's no right or wrong, there's no competitive aspect of learning, because you are the creator of your own reality, and you can intuitively redesign your mindset grid, you know, about the concept of, you know, death, about the concept of sex, about the concept of confidence and inner fire, about the concept of love, about your concept of definition of love, about your definition of truth, right? About your mindful definition of a clear Ashè chakra center, for example, right? And then the crown, then comes the bliss. And before that, which is what I wish for myself, for my family, for my community, my friends, my surrounding, my continent, for the planet Earth, so that we get to realize this aspect of our being, get to realize how we do absorb life, and how in return it is a looped circuitry where you are what you eat. You eat through your mouth, through your nose, through your eyes, through your ears, you absorb through your skin. So this aspect of being is the realization I'm going on having through with these solar eclipse energies, where it's about unlearning and redefining in your own word, in our own words and label, in our own terms. Every concept, or at least the one, governing our inner being. So, yeah. So this will slowly be the end of that first in many videos. We made it through. I started it some hours ago in the park, and there's been so many technical little, you know, trouble and issues. But here we are. I'm about to close this chapter, and I'm definitely coming back with whatever tomorrow brings, and then to speak it through, and then to share. I am in this process myself, as I mentioned in the beginning. So that was the Ashè journey, and as I like to say, always take it one day at a time. Pole pole, one day at a time. That's how it goes. Ashè, from me to you.